To the election, the leaders are setting their sights on Quebec, hoping to win over voters in a province critical to the campaign. Conservative leader Erin O'Toole got down to business, pledging support for Canadian entrepreneurs. But as Mike Le Couteur reports, some analysts say his plan has gaps.
We're also going to have the rebuild Main Street.
Erin O'Toole is trying to frame his party as the only one standing up for small and medium-sized businesses. The Quebec bowling alley used as a backdrop was closed during the pandemic, and the owner took on significant debt. The Conservative leader believes his plan to rebuild Canada's main streets will be a strike with voters.
We will introduce an all-new rebuild Main Street tax credit.
It's a 25% tax credit on amounts up to $100,000 for anyone that personally invests in a small business. The Tories also plan to offer a more generous version of the Canada Emergency Business Account loan, including interest-free loans of up to $200,000.
We will make up to 25% of these loans forgivable for small businesses. This will help struggling businesses get back on their feet and create jobs.
The Canadian Federation of Independent Business applauds the plan, pointing out more than 800,000 Canadian small businesses use the pandemic emergency business loan.
The average small business has $160,000 in fresh COVID-related debt. And that's going to mean that it's an anvil around their necks as they reopen.
One thing this plan doesn't cover is the growing number of home-run online businesses, or so-called micro-sized businesses.
Those programs remain locked down and only available to mature businesses that have been around forever. The Conservative platform doesn't speak to changing any of the eligibility requirements, neither does the NDP platform.
Pressed on why micro-sized businesses aren't part of this plan, O'Toole sidestepped the question.
We want people working in all sectors of the economy and in all regions of the country, and we're going to work relentlessly to achieve that.
Dan Kelly says the CFIB is pushing all parties to include small and micro-sized businesses in these platform proposals so that they too can get help as they try to get through the pandemic. Robin.
Mike Le Couteur in Trois-Rivières, Quebec. Liberal leader Justin Trudeau has just arrived in Montreal after another volatile campaign stop in Ontario this morning. Trudeau was making his first big climate announcement of the campaign, but once again it was delayed and interrupted by crowds of angry protesters. David Akin is following the Liberal campaign. David.
Well, Robin, week 3 on the campaign with the Liberals began pretty much as week 2 ended, with a horde of loud, foul-mouthed protesters trying to disrupt the campaign.
Freedom! Freedom! Freedom!
Liberal leader Justin Trudeau is the lightning rod of their hatred.
He is a coward. Treason! Treason!
Trudeau was the target of obscene chants from a crowd where many brought young children.
Shame on you!
Police were forced to physically remove one woman, though neither she nor anyone else was arrested. But unlike Friday's event in Bolton, Ontario, when a similar group of protesters forced the Liberals to cancel their plans out of concerns for the safety of the participants, the Liberals carried on with Sunday's event.
The Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau.
Thank you, Brian.
Even as protesters tried to shout him down.
Right alongside you.
And yet, asked if his team will change the way they campaign to reduce the chance of his security detail or others from getting hurt, Trudeau seemed defiant.
Canadians won't back down, and neither will I.
The protest overshadowed Trudeau's announcement, this one on climate change. There were no new commitments or promises, just a restating of initiatives announced in the 21-21 budget or elsewhere.
Green jobs are good jobs and good careers. That's why a Liberal government will keep investing in clean industries that power our future, grow our economy, and protect our environment.
Now, looking ahead to the week, the big focus is going to be on Quebec. All the party leaders are there today for a media event tonight, and then they'll be back on Thursday for the first debate, a French language leaders debate. Now, right now, Liberals are still leading in Quebec. That hasn't changed, even as they've fallen behind the Conservatives in Ontario and in BC. And historically, if Quebecers are going to start shifting their votes, it starts to happen after those debates. Robin?
David Akin in Kitchener, Ontario. Thanks, David.